The Wilhelm
back.
scream from yesterday.
Ah!
Who was watching yesterday knows what is this about. If
Yeah,
not,
Wilhelm
just
scream,
Google Wilhelm scream.
Don't Google Wilhelm scream. Don't Google it. So, we're going to be casting up another match today. We've already cast the winners' matches. The winners' bracket is completed. Zalay is waiting in the finals to see who his next opponent is going to be. Kolento and Xixo will have to fight off against one another in a battle, a bloody battle, and then move up to fight off against Dice in another bloody battle, all the way up to Zalay for the final bloody battle, where we will figure out finally who moves on to the live finals in Kiev in about 10 days. I think on the 9th of June is when the event will be starting. So these guys are fighting for that one last slot in the live finals. There will be 3 Chinese players and 5 players from this division. We already have selected 4 of them that finished the round robin in the top 2 seeds of each group, A and B. And now we're on to the last slot that these guys are fighting over. So Kolento on the Druid Rogue Paladin matchup, or that is lineup. Xixo on the Druid Mage Paladin, respecting the Rogue on Kolento's side, banning it for Xixo. And Xixo does not want to deal with Shaman, as his lineup is on the more aggressive side, and that Shaman is well built by Kolento to handle aggro.
Well, you nailed it. I mean, we have seen those decks for how many weeks now?
I forget. It's been too long. I'm an old man now.
Yes, definitely. It's
feeling
an old
old.
man country now.
How many? What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss? A Hearthstone tournament. Oh snap! So Kolento, I feel is going to be extremely weak with the Rogue deck. I think against Xixo here. You've got Druid on aggro for Xixo. The Secret Mage again with a lot of burn potential, and Paladin, while not the 6/1 drop build, still extremely aggressive if it gets the right opener. So Kolento's Rogue is looking like the isolated deck here. Okay. J Druid as well is potentially a weak deck for Kolento as it suffers against mid-range Paladin.
Sorry, but I actually didn't hear anything because my Skype lagged out.
Oh, might have been just me then.
No, probably my own. Anyway, yeah. Let's talk about the matchups.
All right.
We have Mage against Rogue. This time it's a Dark Reaper quest Rogue. So I guess that will help a little bit, especially since he's facing a really aggressive deck. At the same time, Xixo has the optimal opener. Manavim. Oh, okay.
Now we're talking. Xixo.
I guess you should probably play 2 10-1. You would lose 1 attack, but at the same time you gain the attack a turn before, right? You lose the coin, so you can potentially coin out Violence Portal before. But if you're gonna play second one on turn 2, you probably would like to play the Primal Gryph anyway. What do you think about that? What's your opinion?
Is this guy seeing it have any value is the question. Maybe he was looking to play something else onto it than the Glyph. If he picked it up, like Apprentice or something along those lines, instead of just buffing the Mana Worms. But I'm a big fan of just getting those double Mana Worms out early. I guess the only drawback is the Rogue knows what's coming and can plan their turn accordingly, whereas when it comes out on turn 2, they've already daggered up. So suddenly they're a little bit less flexible, but I don't know, I really like the double Mana Worm openers. It's fallen out of favor for a lot of players, it seems. It's not the first time I see somebody just decide not to do it.
Man, I would love to see actually Potion of Polymorph. Imagine polymorphing a minion that opponent already queued up into Shadow Stepping.
Yeah, I'm not... The drawback with Potion of Polymorph is you're often not going to be polymorphing anything huge. The only, of course, it's going to be the quest completion guys you're going to be aiming at.
So you playing around bounces.
Yeah.
And actually, if you can catch Igneous and Elemental, that's huge as well.
No, I agree. I think Mirror Entity is going to yield less value than Potion of Polymorph, because Potion of Polymorph effectively doubles up as tempo if you consider the 1/1, not a big threat. And so in that way, you can effectively treat turning something important into a 1/1 into a long-term gain. In this case, though, not going to matter too much, as Kolento will still end up having to play around all the secrets that could possibly come out of a Glyph, and a Spellbender that can get the Shadow Step, but he'll be testing very swiftly with one of many options, honestly. I feel like you don't have the luxury of just jamming a board to test for Entity or Polymorph, but maybe you just have to, because you can't pitch Igneous first. That's a way to lose the game if it's pushing a Polymorph. But you have to start with the boar. Feels kind of bad.
Well, the Mirror Entity, basically what it does, it just gives additional damage. That's the difference between those two, right? Between the Functional Polymorph and Mirror Entity. In this case, it just swings on tempo. And did cost Kolento some mana from the dagger, and did get 1 damage to Kolento's face. So it might matter in the long run, if that will be the damage that will be, like, you know, missing otherwise. And now Xixo has an awkward draw. Still available to kill this Heart Creeper with just a mana for him.
I mean, this is fine, right?
Yeah, I agree. It is fine, yeah. But at the same time, you would love to have that mana for him still on the board, right?
And Xixo, currently still on board and ahead of Kolento, denied a charger for later purposes. The quest is far from completed for Kolento. All he's going to have to do is try to survive, but Xixo's accumulated quite a bit of burn while all this thing was going on, right? There's been a lot of pieces for Xixo that have been put together. The issue is there's not enough, there's like the critical mass of damage is not quite there yet. At least he picks up a good secret to play with Kirin Mage, or something at least that's relevant, as he's able to eventually enable Valleys that he picks up, the second copy, Ethereal Arcanist to make 5/5. So for the time being, still behind in terms of clocking the rogue, but he's getting there. He's almost at the point of critical damage.
Yep. Not having access to Fireball and Firelands Portal, that's just insane. In this case, it's, I mean, probably will still be used to kill that Tolvir. Maybe not. Probably the Frostbolt. In this case, just the ping. Depends
Kolento
what
has to worry
Kolento
about
does.
this, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this secret is a big deal for Kolento as well. Has to figure out what it is. Because the first secret we saw came from a glyph. So this could be any of the secrets that are baseline in Xixo's deck. Spellbender, I believe, Entity, Counterspell, Ice Block. So he runs a little bit of everything in there. It's like a rainbow of secrets. And Kolento has to play equally against every single one of them, I believe. Which is one of the ways that you bamboozle quest rogues. You saw the eyebrow shoot up for Kolento. He's like, yeah, there's no good way to play around anything here, is there?
Nope. Well, I mean, he needs to trade with the Medivh's Valet just to play around the ping, because that's potentially just way more health loss in the process. I'm not surprised by that. Oh my god.
And that's a draw.
That's
a
like
good draw.
He still had Frostbolt into Fireball, this turn example, but in this case he just goes for board control at the same time. So that's way better. I would actually think about dropping just Kirin Tor, dealing 4 damage to the face. What you have still in hand is turn 7 Firelands Portal, so your opponent will be at 10.
Yeah, you'll be able
10,
to kill him actually with at 10
turn 8 you have Fireball, Frostbolt, Ping, which is exactly lethal.
Or you ping him now and you set up that same line of play with an instant kill without having to worry about the Kirin Tor Mage, right?
That's a good point as well. Yeah.
Or you ping the boar, sure. At the end of the day, you're still getting that ping in on turn a few turns from now. Kolento knows he's on a clock, and there's no way he's gonna pop that block before the clock ticks. So it's a little bit problematic for the quest rogue to be found in this spot. So much burn going face indicates there's more where that one came from. Kolento knows what's up.
That's usually what's up in this matchup. I'm gonna get burned.
Fireball goes up. Kolento goes down. Is that the way this goes? There's very little that Kolento can do in this spot. He didn't find any explosive opener for quest completion. And Xixo with the double mana worm with Glyph just found perfect ways to start the pain train going. Kolento had really no way to stall either. Everything was too slow for what Xixo was putting together. Kolento thinking maybe I can set up some kind of Bilefin Tidehunter board where I stay alive. or trigger the quest ASAP if I pick up a prep after these fireflies are enabled. He's gonna try it. He's gonna try. He is going to try his darned best. His darned best. PG-13.
But it's not enough. And I think he actually didn't use the card that he wanted in the last point. No, he didn't. Okay, never mind.
Not enough mana. He had 3 mana left over. Probably wanted to play all the flame elementals to get the quest online, but is now going to find himself in an even worse spot, as Xixo simply has no care and simply wins the game on the back of the fireball. So that is going to conclude game 1. Yeah, sure.
He could have just went for cute plays and play counterspell this time.
BM Kolento.
Yeah.
Death. Oh man.
Alright, so this is no surprise. Mage takes it from the rogue. That should, in most of the cases, 8 out of 10, I would say. Maybe 7 out of 10. That's the case with the mage. So really no surprise. Now the question is, how does the other decks from Xixo pair against the other decks from Kolento? And the answer is still decent.
I think Xixo is going to have the edge almost no matter what. The only matchup that might be questionable, the most questionable the matchups he's got is the Paladin, and even then it's still probably favored against the Rogue. The issue is Xixo's deck contains the Wild Pyromancers, which of course slows down the tempo of the deck a little bit, but also gives him some game against some Quest Rogue board states. If he's able to force Kolento into committing too many units on the board as 5/5s, gets a good Wild Power equality, that sometimes resets the game in his favor. But either way, his aggro Druid and his Paladin are looking gorgeous against the Rogue, and I think that's why Kolento is just queuing those up. He has to win with Rogue anyway in the Conquest format. Might as well just jam it out there. So something sticks.
Well, let's see what will be the second matchup. I mean, all of the players that were just going into this tournament with aggressive lineups were hugely favored, although they didn't know that beforehand. But in all of the new meta games, it seems like just going for aggressive lineups is just strictly better when you don't have a known meta game before, because then you don't need to worry about correct answers. You don't need to worry about the exactly the amount of weapon height you need to run, the amount of equalities that you need to have in your Paladin decks, and so on. So definitely more success in those aggro decks right now. And out here talking about aggro, and they have openers like that.
Yeah, aggro versus aggro. Oh, you mean 6 drops and 8 drops running into each other very slowly. Kolento, however, finds a 1 drop and got the War Leader as well. So if anybody's going to be the aggressor here based on the initial hand texture, it's going to be Kolento. Could have a return of the favor on Xixo's side. They both have a very similar opener. Extremely similar. Yeah, they're both mid-range paladins. Xixo has the Wild Pyromancer equality, which lets him actually get behind on board, sometimes. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay.
That helps a lot.
Yeah. That coin shoe server is probably going to be needed at some point. So, I think we're playing it slowly until we can get that shoe silver. By the holy light! Xixo's just a little bit of a sarcastic guy. Whenever somebody's played Rockpool Hunter on 2 against him, he's pulled out that line.
Well, Xixo is running the Consecration, but in light of a War Leader, that doesn't really do much. So he needs to commit to Truce of a Champion first, and then it still doesn't really help the Consecration, because the minions will be at full health.
And then there's the Megasaur that we can't see in Gentle Megasaur's, in Kolento's hand. Gentle Megasaur in Gentle Megasaur's hand. Kolento's just turned into that Murloc Paladin.
He just turned into the exhibit right now.
Yeah. Gentle Megasaur is showing himself off. And I think Kolento, with that Megasaur, if he picks up any of the right outcomes, of course, is going to completely snowball out of control. And honestly, any good outcome is plus damage, +1/+1, +3 health. All of these are good. Death Rattle is probably one of the worst, but it's still fine.
Wait,
there are so many good outcomes. Sorry?
Kolento's playing Overwatch, right? I guess. I mean, he has the card back.
I was not aware.
Interesting. All right, his adapt was actually not one of the best. One of the best. Divine Shield doesn't really do much to pressure his opponent, although they guarantee better board control. But with the minions not having more than 2 attack, they're not really the best to trade anyway. In this case, though, the Tide Core will be sacrificed to one of those Divine Shields, so that's decent.
You are getting some value for Kolento out of these Divine Shields, especially if you manage to keep them around for a little while, and that is a great draw there. That means he's going to have a clean board going into turn 6. He's going to be able to just wipe out everything. Do you just keep the shield on one of your guys anyway?
I would say no, but I would just go for the Truciva Champion and the Tidecaller instead, to be honest.
Okay.
Because you know it's
Oh, you're right. You're right, the Finja play, of course. Yeah, Kolento's now wondering why he made that, but he's like, oh, I should have known better. I should have played around that.
I mean, he has the Stampeding Kodo in that deck also specifically for this scenario, and he had a decent option for turn 5 anyway. And it sets up a decent tempo play as well, while Kodo will always have a target in this deck. It doesn't really matter if you kill a 1/3 or 1/1 in this case. It still kills a creature, but if you get the outcome of killing a Finja, that's like insane swing.
Yeah, that is true. The upside of keeping that Kodo for Finja is much higher than... And you saw Kolento's face even just twitch as he realized, oh, what have I done? I played into the Finja turn, and now he's on the back foot. He's got, and again, like, he's got a way to reset the board if things go too badly with Equality Consec, but you don't even want to put yourself in that spot to begin with. And he is going to give his opponent the most pain he can to end the game quickly before the counter push comes in and ends the game. Whoa. Kolento just wins almost no matter what, right? Because he's got Equality Consec. Even if the 1/1 dies and Murlocs respond, he goes Equality Consec, goes through any taunts that aren't Spiker's Steed, and just wins.
Well, I guess.
So if you Equality first, you kill the Finja, then you Consecrate, trade with True Silver, and then you've got the opponent down to 1 health.
It's really tough to make a comeback from that position. I mean, Xixo still has Equality and Consecration, and Equality and Pyromancer, but he can't draw that because he only has Consecration in his hand already. So he needs to get his own Equality right now. Then, what he needs is on turn 8 a Ragnaros to stabilize the board. That's the way I think he can make a comeback. At least from his perspective, right?
Yeah. So you can put your opponent down to what, like 5 health, 4 health here. With the Consec and the weapon hit, you clean up everything, and then you're able to hit him down to 4. So you are forcing Xixo to have that Consecration. But if he does, there might just be a comeback. At 2 health, Xixo's looking pretty dead to anything in Kolento's deck. Now that he's got choices.
It's still a very interesting situation, because now Xixo, what he wants to do is just hero power this turn, because there's no difference between the Rockpool Hunter and the hero power 1/1 Silverhand Murloc, because the play is Tarim next turn. If he's not dead this turn, if he's not dead this turn, he just takes it with Tarim and makes it impossible for Kolento to attack into his face with Truciva Champion or with any other minion for some time, and then he's able to maybe get a draw that stabilizes the game. But the second Consecration ruined the day. So it's 1/1.
Could have been True Silver Champion. It was also another one of those cards that could have won the game. So there were still 2 cards in there that instantly killed Xixo, and Kolento found one of the 2. There's also the frustration fact about the fact, when you know this, that your Kodo didn't kill Finja. When Xixo saw that, probably thought, oh, cool, I get the free ticket to Finja. It didn't end up mattering. Kolento got the tempo from the Kodo and still took it. I'm still dubious or doubtful that was his intention of just tempoing out Xixo with the Kodo and let the Finja live, but it worked out in the end. He ended up finding exactly what he needed. But frankly, one more turn of this, and I think Xixo stabilized. Based on the hand texture, it looked like he was well on his way to recovery.
Yep. And now we have Paladin against Druid, something we had seen many times already, but this time Xixo has the most explosive opener ever, which is Rockpool Hunter into the Tidecaller, or the other way around. And that's something you don't want to see at any given point when you're a Druid. But you push to use the Wrath to just kill it. Helps a lot. Over that, it would snowball out of control.
Yeah, and honestly, this is kind of the dream scenario for Xixo. Well, this is potentially going to be an even bigger blowout. He's got the weaker, I want to say the weaker Murlocs, but like non-War Leader Murlocs are in the hand, which means that the odds of this Finja pulling good stuff later on is even higher. Yeah. Thus making the fact, the Rockpool Hunter and Hydrologist even scarier going forward. And
because most likely you will not pull, you will not pull off minions that have battle cries, and because you already played them, so that's a really good draw.
Valfid Inquisitors are present though, so does it matter though? Does Pyromancer matter?
Not really.
In this matchup, it matters very late when you're so far behind you can't catch up, or against Jade Behemoths. I
would like to just see Hydrologist first, see what secret do you get. Gateway Kodo is actually pretty decent with the Defender on board already. Other than that, you can still keep the Redemption or the Gateway Kodo and just play the Rockpool Hunter as well. Just wait it out. Next turn is Finja anyway. You can be super passive because your opponent is still having that, kind of really slow Tar Creeper on board, so it will live till turn 6 when you can just attack with Finja and kill it.
Move quickly.
I don't feel like attacking here is the correct decision.
I mean, what are you playing into? Swipe, definitely. So yeah, I would recommend against attacking in this spot. But if you're setting up for the Finja and you get the swipe out before your refill, then you're slowing down the Druid's tempo, but he still has the coin for any 6-drop, so even if he goes swipe into 6-drop, he's happy. Yeah, I guess if you're doing this, you're just trying to get that swipe out of the way.
Oops.
That's a loud vehicle.
Yeah, sorry for that. Wasn't the police this time, though.
You live in a great neighborhood, Lothar.
Yeah, thank you. I'm moving in 2 months, I guess. Or maybe even less.
Alright, Xixo, we'll pick up a trade nonetheless. You set up that trade. Oh, choose over champion. Hello, we're still Finja-ing every day. So maybe Xixo was just setting up that perfect Finja on the 2 health remaining minion. After you...
Alright.
It was a value trade. I mean, the way the trades lined up for Kolento were kind of obvious given the swipe, so this always leaves a 2 health minion that you either take with your 2-2 and then you lose it, or you can set up for Finja. So I could see that happen. I mean, if the 3-6 comes out, True Silver plus the 2-2 works in your favor. Oh. Interesting. Very interesting spot. Xixo definitely a few steps ahead here.
And Ragnar is one of those MVP cards in this matchup. Because what it can do is help with all those buffed minions by Spikered Steed, by Blessing of Kings, heal them up, even heal himself up, which is pretty huge. So definitely something that you want to have in your hand already. Oh, and the War Leader as well. The Noble Sacrifice will help so much here.
Yeah, it's going to stall Kolento. So it's going to have to check first, so that's like the first step, is checking for secrets. But the fact that it's also going to prevent an attack means that this Finja is more likely to do what it has to. So Kolento is likely to start... He might try to attack into the 3-3, and then if that works, finish it off.
And the problem is, like, in this case, when there's a secret already out, it might be a redemption. So if you attack into Finja and kill it, he gets it back with stealth already. With Gateway Kodo, he needs to replay it, so it's not that tough, but it's still kind of awkward.
Finja lives, basically.
Yeah, with the Noble Sacrifice though, it's really hard to pin it on that, because you would have to use the hero power first. And that's like getting additional damage in case if it's actually redemption. So tough choice for Kolento, and I feel like he made the right call to just check with the minion first, but he did pay the price for that. All right,
enough mana for Kolento. Going
now
into
the
Primordial Drake turn.
My God, okay, he has two good plays. It's either the Protector or the Megazord, but I feel like the Protector, when you can get just a huge Finja Divine Shield play, and most likely get another War Leader out of the deck? No. Alright, still okay. All those minions are immune, apart from Finja, to die from Primordial Drake, and it's turn 8, so obviously there's that comes into mind, what your opponent will do. And
I mean, you've got Megasaur even now. This is so ridiculous for Xixo. What?
Well, can't really do much, right? Poisonous, Divine Shield. I think Divine Shield is actually better, right? Well, doesn't matter. Kolento knows it's over.
Kolento says, meh, I'm not gonna suffer through this. It's a bad matchup. I knew it going into it. Didn't find what I needed. Xixo had the God Curve, picked up those Rockpool Hunters like the boss that he is, then had the Gentle Megasaurs to keep stacking even more pain. Now Xixo's down to one deck to climb out of the loser's bracket, and that is Aggro Druid. An extremely favored deck against both of what's coming up here. The Token Druid against Jade Druid is in the favor, technically, of the aggressive deck. And against Rogue, well, I don't have to mention that. That's usually where the Aggro Druid shines the most of all the matchups in the game.
That is true. And that's the best possible minion to have on turn 1, Enchanted Raven. Because it's a beast. It's a hard to remove minion because it has 2 HP. It's spectacular in mirror matches because it kills 1-2 minions while still being alive, so it guarantees synergy for your buffs next turn. It's awesome to have it in the opening hand. Oh, and a Fledgling. Okay. In this case, Xixo wants to go for a wider board for Mark of the Lotus next turn.
Yeah, it looks like that, and it's also setting up a really good Enchanted Raven if it lives. And if the Enchanted Raven gets killed by Wrath, you play the Fledgling lives, then you Mark of your Shard, and you just farm that Druid. So all the options that are coming up for Xixo are absolutely fantastic.
I mean, the play that he did is rookie better against a Wrath. Because if he commits to the Enchanted Raven turn 1, then the Wrath might just kinda force you to have lower value on the Mark of the Lotus. So very well played by Xixo here, recognizing that. And now it's awkward, like, if there will be a Wrath, you're still fine with it, because your opponent would have to commit on turn 3 with a Wrath. And what you get in exchange is a Mark of the Shard on a 3/3 that just guarantees straight on Dark Reaper. That's such a good setup.
And it's swipe immune. Right now, Swipe is not killing this board. Double Swipe does it over 2 turns, and that's great for Kolento. At least he's got an opening here, but these are the type of openings where Aggro Druid just goes, I'm going to Savage Roar this current board state, right? And turn this 11 damage on the board into another extra 10. So Xixo is forced to respond by double swiping and setting up that double swipe, in fact.
Ooh. Well, this is like the fact that Kolento has the second swipe might be the saving grace here.
He's got a chance to catch up because these 3/3s, while they're going to survive, one of them is the rest of the board is going to get cleaned up.
Yeah, most likely the War Leader will survive. Fledgling is too big of a threat to just, you know, leave it behind. It can just win it on its own.
Yeah, but there's still the Murloc on the board, so double War Leader would be sick. That's a great draw, but you have to kill your own Murloc if you want to play that crab, so I don't think this is...
That's awkward.
That crab's not coming out now.
If that card would have been actually drawn one turn before, that would have been amazing. Because then the second swipe wouldn't do much. Would just kill one minion. It would still be pressing for damage.
Yeah, to be honest, this Jade Behemoth is gonna stop Xixo dead in his tracks. Unless Xixo picks up the other War Leader, which would be completely bonkers. Or, you know, Savage Roar. That would also close out the game, I believe, right? Savage Roar, Murloc trade, and you get to push 8. So Savage Roar wins the game right now. Power of the Wild does not.
That's a decent pickup.
Sure, it's pretty solid, but unfortunately does not single-handedly win the game.
Yeah, but your opponent is out of swipes, so your 5/1 war leader is actually pretty safe. The only fact that he's
do you even
second grab?
Because the 1/1 challenges it, so you'd have to take the value trade if you want to if you think.
I think you should.
Okay.
I think you should because the Druid, the Jade.
I like this.
Okay. Well, never mind. Okay, that's actually better. I was thinking just in case you want to take the value trade, is because Jade Golem has so much life generation, right? Feral Rages, Orphan Scales, and you can still pair it up with a minion. So at least, like, you know, if it's in case, let's say it's either Fandral or Jade Spirit will be actually on a free health with the Orphan Scale, but it's always something. But eating up the Murloc might be the best outcome here, definitely.
Yeah, it's the only way you recycle that Murloc Warrior into something that has a purpose. And now, on 8 health effectively, well, on 4 health effectively, Savage Roar still wins. Another Hungry Crab comes out to play. Not the draw that Xixo was looking for here. Still could have closed out the game with the Savage Roar.
He has access to living matter in his deck, which is like a win button against druids in general. Because what can they do if they don't have Primordial Drake already available? Ooh, well, that's convenient.
You can pick up another Fel Rage. That'd be sick. There's also Earthen Scales to consider in the deck. So does he find any of them? And no, he does not.
He can still go for the second Nourish to find Earthen Scales.
All right, fair enough. So you could pick up Earthen Scales or a Wrath. Both of them actually end up cleaning up the board completely.
Yes, I would love to see the second Nourish here. There are 3 cards in the deck that help you massively. Other than that, you will just use the hero power. So you'll trade with the Fandral and use the hero power to build up health. I mean, if you just get those Earthen Scales, you just win the game at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you stabilize Wrath, Earthen Scales. You got so many outs in the deck that, honestly, at this point, you might as well you might as well fish for them. The odds that you don't find them.
Here we go.
So slim.
And another Innervate.
Because why not? For a good measure. Let's get that Jade out. Get that armor gain generated. Now that does leave a Hungry Crab on the board, so if Market Visharge gets picked up,
oh, I think
that's an extra 2 damage. Yeah, spectator mode things. Small indie company and all that.
Goddamn Overwatch.
I blame the card back. This is trippy, man. They're overlaid on top of each other. What's going on?
Dude, that's almost what I saw when I had the seizure. I know it's not.
Whoa!
Funny.
He picked up a pirate. That was crazy. Did you see that, Lothar?
He did pick up a pirate, but
he played a pirate. No, it doesn't change anything in this case. Xixo's gonna have to find living mana off the draw, and I'm not even sure it's enough. So it just goes to show how difficult of a spot he is in. Did he find it though? If he had it, I would have seen it.
Yeah, well, if he did find anything important, he would just play it already. So.
Oh, that's
okay,
a sub for Savage Roar soonish.
Yes. So it's 5, 9, 12, 14, 16 damage from Kolento. He's at 7 health if he uses the hero power. And that means that Bluegill Warrior is 4 damage. That's actually 7 damage, so it might be lethal with Savage Roar next turn if Kolento doesn't have life gain. Or
which he could find now with that Wild Growth. There is another Earthen Scales in there. There's another Fel Rage, I believe. Although maybe he cut one of the Earthen Scales / Fel Rages for that Blood Mage Thanos. I'm not sure what cut was made for Blood Mage. It's not a a very common card in the Jade Druid arsenal, so. Oh!
Oh my god!
And that just locks out the game. Xixo's on no outs at all, so that Druid is gonna have to go up against the Rogue. It's pretty happy, to go up against the Rogue, but could have found himself a win. If Savage Roar comes off the draw, that is gonna be Very, very bittersweet for Xixo.
Let's see the draw, man. Xixo, don't concede. I mean, he would have already conceded, right?
I want to
Let's
see
it.
the draw, man.
No!
How dare you,
Why? In the oh my god.
Xixo, you know what? I play too much, card games. Usually you show them the top card, you show them your hand or whatever. You just, all right, Xixo, I see how it is. You want to just deny the viewers the experience of viewing a skill-intensive Hearthstone tournament, the pleasure of seeing how well-constructed your deck is. I get it. Now you're no longer the guy I root for. Kolento, take him away. Just Tolvir him to death. I believe in you.
All right. Well, not a decent opener for Kolento. He has Firefly, but that Stuntus board most likely has to go. What a weird hand for Xixo here. He has access to turn 2 Finjan. I feel like that is the most important thing in this game.
Yeah, I think turn 2 Finja is always the best play against Quest Rogue. I mean, it's the best against everything, but against Quest Rogue, you always have a target. That's the big upside. There's always going to be a...
Unless your opponent just use a Shadow Step and, not replay the minions.
Okay, I see how it is. That would be kind of trolly of Kolento. All right, Xixo. I have to root for you now because you're winning, and I'm very results oriented, and I will look good when I see that your name is on the blackboard as my vote. So Xixo, you're winning this. Don't disappoint.
Well, he is on a good path. Innervate coin Finja is kind of one of those plays that you're always happy to see, especially if it gets out those War Eaters. That's like the MVP here. Especially with next turn, you won't have access to 3 mana. Unfortunately, he did get to draw patches. So what you can do is just you can either play the Warrior and buff it up with the Mark of the Lotus, or you go for the Corsa and the patches and then buff them up. So you'll end up with 5 or 4 minions to be buffed. That's pretty insane. It's turn free.
Yeah, typical aggro druid thing. Sometimes they just get these openers you can't stop. Sometimes they go wide by just playing a bunch of 1-drops, and then you still can't stop them. In this case, it's another avenue with the very early Finja path. Kolento's trying to figure out exactly how to play this out, and he knows Glacial Shard at some point is going to have to do something. So step 1 is probably always to bring out the Murlocs. The only Murlocs he can bring out are 1 Bluegill and 1 War Leader, I believe, or 2 War Leaders. It's one or the other. If he gets 2 War Leaders, he auto-wins. I mean, honestly, whatever he brings out, he probably auto-wins, just based on the way this...
Oh!
Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh my god.
Are you ready? Here we go.
Oh my goodness. Alright, so I feel like you might actually go for the Bluegill Warrior and just buff it up. It has 4 HP right now and 7 attack.
You're killing the weapon, removing 1 charge from it.
Oh,
this Kolento guy is probably going to be looking at a loss here. So he can play double Glacial Shard, so there is that. He can South Sea deckhand with patches, with the Firefly to kill a Murloc War Leader. He's got plays for days, but they're not good.
Dude,
they're all awful.
I don't get it. Why not just Mark of the Lotus those War Eaters? If they can't be removed. I mean, okay, Xixo is so far ahead, he's most likely winning the game 9 out of 10 anyway. But, okay, he's playing around Preparation Vanish. Right, that's what he's playing around. Okay, that's understandable then. Even if he loses 1 War Eater, it's not that big of a pain. It stings a little bit when it comes to the potential damage they do. But it's still fine. You need to stop the Finja from attacking, right?
Yeah, this guy can't connect once more. There's another Bluegill lurking in the deck. Although that's the only Murloc left, it's still enough to be a problem, so... I have to start freezing up that board. And to be fair, once the second War Leader is dead, if it dies, suddenly the damage output's a lot lower. Oh man, alright, we're in.
Well, that's 8 damage for 3 mana, and you can play Mark of the Lotus as well, or you can play Patches and play Savage Roar anyway. So then it's additional 2 and 1 from Patches. So it's
I like
11
Runt Patches buff, right?
Patches and buff, and
No,
and
and the Runt.
and the Runt. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems decent. Seems decent, I would say.
I mean, it's weak-ish against Vanish and Prep, but to be fair, you're probably still okay afterwards. So, yeah, I'd be up for that. You know, just go wide and set up the biggest roar of your life. But Force of Nature was the problem. It's really the card that had to be nerfed. Really, if you think about it, it was too good.
Time waits for no one.
Wind Fury. All right. This guy likes big buffs. Now he is pushing his enemy down to 11. Kolento is on what now? Even Vanish doesn't do it. He needs prep and doesn't have it.
Yep.
Double Bilefin ain't even close.
He's dead, man. He's a dead man walking. And dead man tail... dead man...
Tells no tales.
I mean, that's so hard to say for a non-native speaker.
Yeah. But you can just go like to tell tales as people just... It's Twitch chat, they don't listen anyway. We can say whatever we want.
Yeah. Gonna get bashed for it anyway.
Probably. Kolento will bow down to the god of death, and that is Xixo in this case, who will knock out Kolento from the tournament as a whole, as the last gen's qualifier did not give Kolento the opportunity to climb back up. Now, Xixo will be fighting off against Tice afterwards. So Tice will basically have fought off against everyone. He's fought off against Zalae, lost, fought off against Kolento, threw him down the loser's bracket, and now he's going to fight off against Xixo at this point in time. So we will see whether or not Tice can take it. Xixo, again, with the aggressive-ish lineup, still has an edge probably over Tice's lineup, the same way that Zalae did, but it's a little bit less all-in. There's a mid-range Paladin instead of the 6 1-drops. There's 4 of them, so it might slow down a little bit the pace of the game. In the meantime, we'll be taking a very short break and be right back, guys. Do not go anywhere. Coming back.